Levels among today's youth differ significantly from previous generations. This is according to Infoquest's latest study, which measures how loyal the youth is to their employers. The study showed that the Gauteng province had lower loyalty from the youth than other provinces due to the abundance of jobs. But let's unpack these insights further with the Trender founder, Mogorosi Mashilo, who of course worked with Infoquest on this study. Very, very interesting, Mogorosi. Good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining us. It's interesting that we talk about a lack of loyalty in youth and loyalty to their employers, particularly in Gauteng, when we're sitting in a country that has, what, 40%, 40+% youth unemployment, and yet your study has found that those that do have jobs, though, are not loyal to them. What exactly is it that you were looking at? Let's start there.
Good morning, Naledi, and good morning to viewers as well. Yes, so we did a study on the current youth situation, where we interviewed 300 respondents of those who are aged 18 to 34 years old, and really the study was about their loyalty in the current job situation. And what we really found is that and just going back, why we did the study is also because of the lack of employment among the youth in the country at the moment. So we wanted to find out, of those that are really employed, how loyal are they to their companies. And we found that almost 70 or over 70% have got 2 to 3 more jobs. And that also just shows it shows one, how the scarcity of jobs have created people to look for more jobs than they currently have. So a lot of people are literally, that's what we call the hustler generation right now. And also it just shows with the new technology and social media, people are looking for other income streams. You can become a YouTuber. You can, and so that is the reason why now they've moved into so many other job opportunities instead of one being defined by a particular skill set. The youth nowadays is, and when we talk about the youth, we talk about the Gen Z. So these are 1997, born 1997 to 2000. So it's basically what commonly known as AMA 2000. So they've got various opportunities, and the unemployment level didn't really help much, because it actually drove them to find better ways in order for them to make a living for themselves, and not now focus just solely
on a 9 to 5.
On a 9 to 5, yes.
Very interesting, right? So you've got a generation of that's entering the workforce that is looking for agility, and they want multiple streams of income. Very, very fascinating. But we're going to look at some of the graphics and certainly the graphs that have come from this study by Infoquest and yourselves at Trender, that now looks at also the number of jobs that young people have held. So this was really interesting for me. In the blue there, you've got those that are aged 18 to 24, and then 25 to 38 to 34. In orange. But look at those numbers. So 28% of those under 24 saying they are on their first job. And then 59% of them saying they're on their second to third job. I wonder if that's encouraging. Then, what is it, 11% of them saying they're on their fourth to fifth job, or that they've held on more than 5 jobs is at 3%. Is that a lot? So how do you interpret that data?
Yes, so basically, it means not really on the first or second job, but it means that they're actually holding those amount of jobs simultaneously.
Oh.
So Yes. So when you look at the number of jobs, I mean, the most is 2 to 3 jobs. That 18 to 24 years, and also 25 to 34 years. So then again, as I said, is the youth are in this culture of holding being multi-skilled,
Yeah.
and holding these many jobs at the same time. And what it does really is yes, it for them individually, they get to learn many different skills,
Right.
get to see many different job or rather professionals that can aid them into doing their particular jobs.
Okay.
But for the actual job market, it's also, as an employer, you need to also have a bit of a caution, because it means that you don't have that loyalty anymore.
Yeah.
So the job market is actually, because they can leave you at any time.
Yeah. Very competitive
Basically.
for. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sorry, I need
it's
to just
very
step in there.
competitive. It's very competitive, and
Yeah,
yes,
let me step in, because there's quite a bit of data for us to look at here, and I'm really interested in these graphs. Right, let's take a look at this one now. It says loyalty to
yes.
current employer. Those who gave a 9 or 10 out of 10%. So you need to explain what we're looking at here. Overall, 57%. Explain this data for us, please.
Yes, ma'am. So the loyal to current employer, it just means that when we ask the youth, how loyal are you to your job, basically, and they basically, there is not a lot of loyalty, especially amongst the ages of 18 to 24 years old. So this means that they can basically change their job within a month, or their notice period.
Yeah.
And Gauteng is also quite large on our percentage, or rather our respondent rates, because Gauteng is also more competitive.
Right.
There's more opportunities. There's
So
more.
So essentially in Gauteng, let me make sense of it. So essentially in Gauteng, only 47% of young people saying they're loyal to their employers, which means the other, what is it now, my mathematics, 53, saying I'm happy to leave my job at any point when something else comes up. Very interesting. Okay. And I want to talk about leadership, because, I speak to any young person between 34 and younger, they might have something to say about who leads them, and if they trust and favor their bosses, right? There's a graph here, youth sentiments about company leadership. Let's take a look at this one. This one I'm really quite interested to see. Leaders give staff clear direction in terms of the company goals and objectives. 88% of them are voting that way. Leaders make well-informed decisions that are in the best interests of the organization. 87% of them are in agreement. Leaders empower staff to do their best work. 83%. These aren't bad numbers. So the issue isn't necessarily the leadership in the workplace. It's just they're not loyal to the organizations, and they don't necessarily have issues with the leadership, which I think is quite interesting, right?
Yes. So we basically in the age of information, and the one thing about our youth right now is they're willing to learn, they're willing to absorb, any skill set or anyone that mentors them.
Yeah.
So there is no question about that they are out there and they're willing to do that. And you can see within the numbers, a lot of them are saying, we want to do something. I want to learn. I want to be able to better myself. So there is no question about that. The only thing here is that they can learn from multiple parties, and that is what we're seeing here, is that their rate of absorption of learning is not limited.
Yeah.
So I can learn from 3 jobs at the same time.
Wow.
I don't need just one job to do that. And that's where I think we need to give our youth credit.
Yeah.
In terms of their willingness to be able to want to participate in our economy.
Yeah, right.
And want to also individually better themselves.
Yeah, they're skills hungry. Very, very fascinating. And thank you so much for bringing us that data. And of course, I think the lesson here for employers would be to be adaptable and to really innovate in how you adapt, I suppose, your workplace, so to engage and retain that young talent. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Mogorosi Mashilo is the founder of Trender that worked alongside Infoquest to give us that study.